Listen to this. The letter arrived on a morning in early August 1762, 6 weeks after Catherine's coup. Now listen to this. On a morning in early August of the year 1762, approximately 6 weeks following the successful coup that had brought Catherine to power, a letter arrived. Same information, completely different effect. The first version moves, the second version plods, the first has bone, the second is all flesh. Today we're going to talk about the smallest structural decisions, the ones that happen at the level of the sentence and the paragraph, the rhythm that makes prose breathe. Welcome back to the Architect's Method. I am Luigi Pascal Rondanini and this is episode 9, Rhythm and Bone. We have spent 8 episodes on large-scale architecture, the skeleton, the 4 acts, scene purpose, drift zones, the macrostructure that holds a novel together. Now we zoom in, all the way in, to the sentence. Here is something I believe. You can have perfect macrostructure and still fail at the sentence level. The skeleton can be sound, the acts balanced, every scene carrying load, and the prose can still feel dead. Because prose has its own architecture. Sentences build into paragraphs, paragraphs build into scenes, and at every level there is rhythm, there is bone. The Architect's Method is not just about what you write, it is about how the writing moves. Rhythm in prose is the pattern of stress and pause, the alternation of long and short, the way sentences flow into each other or break apart. We feel rhythm before we understand it. Read enough well-crafted prose and your ear learns to expect certain patterns. Read clumsy prose and something feels wrong, even if you cannot articulate what. Rhythm operates at 3 levels. The sentence. How long is it? Where do the stresses fall? Where does it breathe? The paragraph. How do sentences relate to each other? Is there variation or monotony? Does the paragraph build or dissipate? The scene. How do paragraphs accumulate? Where does the pace quicken or slow? How does the prose rhythm match the narrative energy? Each level has its own architecture, and they must work together. Let me talk about what I call bone, the structural integrity of a sentence. A sentence with bone is lean. It has a clear subject, a strong verb, and everything else serves those 2 elements. You can feel its skeleton. A sentence without bone is soft. The subject is buried. The verb is weak. Qualifiers and clauses pad the structure until you cannot feel anything solid beneath. Compare. She understood, in that moment, with a clarity that surprised her, that everything she had believed about her situation was, in fact, fundamentally mistaken. Versus. She understood. Everything she had believed was wrong. The second version has bone, subject-verb, clean, direct, strong. The first version is technically grammatical, but the bone is buried under qualifications. In that moment, with a clarity that surprised her. In fact, fundamentally, each phrase weakens the impact. Here is a principle. Qualifiers cost more than they add. Every time you write very, or really, or somewhat, or in fact, you are paying in momentum. Sometimes that cost is worth it. Usually it is not. Go through your prose and circle the qualifiers. Then ask, what would I lose if I cut this? Often the answer is nothing, or I would gain clarity. Rhythm requires variation. If every sentence is the same length, the same structure, the same pattern, the prose becomes hypnotic in the worst way. The reader's attention drifts. Listen to this. Anna walked to the window. She looked out at the garden. The snow was falling steadily. The trees were bare and black. She felt a sense of unease. 5 sentences. All short, all subject, verb, object, all roughly the same length. It is numbing. The monotony creates distance. We stop feeling anything because the rhythm has flatlined. Now listen to this. Anna walked to the window. Outside, snow fell steadily on the bare black trees, and she found herself gripped by unease, the kind that arrives without cause and refuses to name itself. Same content, different music. The short opening sentence establishes the action. Then, a longer sentence unfolds, adding detail, building atmosphere. The rhythm varies, the prose breathes. Here is the principle. Short sentences punch. Long sentences flow. Use both. A paragraph of all short sentences feels choppy, staccato, exhausting. A paragraph of all long sentences feels languid, slow, potentially tedious. The music comes from alternation, short, long, medium, short. The reader's ear is engaged because the pattern keeps shifting. Short sentences have special power. They land hard. They create emphasis. They slow the reader down. But that power is proportional to rarity. If every sentence is short, none of them punch. The impact comes from contrast. In The Reader of the Empress, I reserve very short sentences for moments of revelation or decision. Let me show you. I had spent years constructing an understanding of my position, its privileges, its constraints, its careful balances of influence and invisibility. I had mapped the terrain of court life with the precision of a cartographer, noting every alliance and amity, every current of favor and disgrace. I believed, I understood. I was wrong. 3 words. After 3 long sentences, that is the punch. If the whole passage were short sentences, I was wrong would be just another line. But after the long, complex build-up, those 3 words land like a hammer. The principle: earn your short sentences. Do not scatter them randomly. Use them at moments of maximum impact, turns, revelations, decisions. Let them break the rhythm deliberately. Make them count. Here is a diagnostic I ran on sentence-level rhythm in an early draft. Average sentence length, 24 words. Standard deviation, 6 words. Assessment, low variation. The prose maintains a consistent mid-length throughout, creating rhythmic monotony. Recommendation: introduce deliberate variation. More sentences under 10 words at emphasis points. More sentences over 35 words for complex development. That diagnostic sent me back through the manuscript with specific targets. I identified 50 moments that deserved short sentence emphasis. I found 30 passages that could sustain longer, more complex constructions. I broke up the middle ground monotony. The word count did not change much, but the music changed entirely. Readers described the revised prose as more propulsive and easier to follow. They could not articulate why. They just felt the difference. That is, rhythm doing its work. Now, let us zoom out one level, from sentence to paragraph. A paragraph is a unit of thought. It should have a single focus, one idea, one moment, one development. When that focus is complete, a new paragraph begins. But paragraphs also have architecture. They build, they accumulate, they arrive somewhere. The classic structure: topic sentence, which establishes what the paragraph is about; development, which expands, illustrates, complicates; resolution, which concludes the thought, often with emphasis. This structure is not mandatory. Literary fiction breaks it constantly, but understanding the convention helps you break it meaningfully. Let me show you a paragraph from The Reader of the Empress. The palace operated on a currency I was only beginning to understand. Not money. Money was crude, obvious, beneath the concerns of those who had enough of it. The true currency was attention. Who received it? Who bestowed it? Who was seen to receive it and who witnessed the bestowing? Every glance carried weight. Every turn back sent a message. I watched the exchanges with the fascination of a scholar deciphering a new language, and I knew that my survival depended on becoming fluent. Let us break this down. Opening. The palace operated on a currency I was only beginning to understand. Topic established. We are going to learn about this currency. Development, not money. The true currency was attention. The idea is complicated, not what we expected. Expansion. Who received it? Who bestowed it? Short sentences. Staccato. Emphasizing the transactional nature. Development continues. Every glance carried weight. Every turn back sent a message. Parallel structure. Building. Resolution. I watched, and I knew that my survival depended on becoming fluent. Returns to Anna. Stakes established. Paragraph closes with consequence. The paragraph moves. It has architecture. It does not just dump information, it builds towards something. Here is where rhythm connects to narrative. Different scenes need different energy. A confrontation needs urgency, a reflection needs space, a revelation needs weight. Your prose rhythm should match your narrative energy. For urgency, short sentences, short paragraphs, quick exchanges, minimal description. The reader races forward. She turned. He was there. The door was behind her, 10 feet, maybe 12. She calculated. Too far. He moved first. For reflection, longer sentences, developed paragraphs, interior observation. The reader slows down, sinks in. She sat by the window as the afternoon light shifted from gold to grey, and she allowed herself, for the first time in weeks, to consider the shape of what she had lost, not the particulars, which were too sharp to examine directly, but the outline, the silhouette of a life she had thought was hers. For revelation, build-up followed by impact. Long sentences establishing context, then a short sentence that lands the truth. The principle: prose rhythm is emotional instruction. You are telling the reader how to feel through how the sentences move. Fast rhythm creates anxiety, slow rhythm creates contemplation, varied rhythm creates engagement. Do not fight your own prose. If you are writing a climax in languid, reflective sentences, you are working against yourself. Match the rhythm to the moment. Where you break paragraphs is a choice, and it is a powerful one. A paragraph break creates a pause, a breath, a moment of white space before the reader continues. Used well, paragraph breaks create emphasis and pacing. Consider. She opened the ledger and saw her own name. The implications unfolded slowly, each realization worse than the last. Versus, she opened the ledger and saw her own name. The implications unfolded slowly, each realization worse than the last. The second version creates a pause between discovery and response. The white space holds the moment. The reader experiences the gap. Short paragraphs, even single sentences, create emphasis. They say, "This matters. Stop here." Long paragraphs create immersion. They say, "Stay with me. Let this develop." The same principle of variation applies. All short paragraphs feel fragmentary, breathless. All long paragraphs feel dense, potentially exhausting. Mix them. Let the rhythm of paragraph length support the rhythm of sentence length. Let me give you some exercises to develop rhythm awareness. Exercise 1. The Length Audit. Take a page of your prose. Count the words in each sentence. Write the numbers in the margin. Look at the pattern. Is there variation or monotony? If most sentences cluster around the same length, 15 to 20 words, say, you have a rhythm problem. Introduce deliberate variation. Exercise 2. The Short Sentence Hunt. Find your very short sentences, under 8 words. Are they placed at moments of impact, or scattered randomly? If they are random, you are wasting their power. Move them. Save them for moments that deserve emphasis. Exercise 3. Read aloud. Read your prose aloud. Your voice will stumble where the rhythm breaks. Your breath will run out where sentences are too long. Your energy will flag where variation is absent. Your ear knows what your eye misses. Trust it. Exercise 4. The Paragraph Intention Check. For each paragraph, ask, what is this paragraph's one job? What thought does it develop? If you cannot answer clearly, the paragraph may be doing too much. Split it, or it may be doing nothing. Cut it. Here is what I want you to take from this episode. Prose has architecture. Just like a novel has a skeleton, sentences have bone. Just like acts have purpose, paragraphs have focus. The architect's method applies at every level, from the macrostructure of 4 acts down to the microstructure of subject-verb-object. Good rhythm is varied, long and short, complex and simple, alternation, not monotony. Good rhythm is purposeful. Short sentences for impact, long sentences for development. Rhythm matches energy. Good rhythm is invisible. When it is working, the reader does not notice it. They just feel the prose moving them forward. Let me leave you with one more passage. This time, I will read it so you can hear the rhythm. I had become skilled at a particular form of not knowing. the kind that allows the hand to continue writing while the mind looks elsewhere. It was not ignorance. Ignorance implies absence. This was presence, carefully managed. A discipline of attention, directed always toward the task and never toward its implications. I was very good at it. Until I was not. Long, long, short, shorter. Build, build, punch, punch. That is rhythm, that is bone. Before you go, sentence level analysis is part of the diagnostic toolkit. The custom GPT can measure your average sentence length, identify variation patterns, and flag rhythmic monotony. Link in the show notes. Next episode, Motif Architecture. We are going to talk about recurring images, symbols, and phrases, how they create thematic coherence, and how to track them across 80,000 words. Until then, build well.